Shemai Elite Dangerous Chums, the Panther Clipper MK2 has been released on early access for ARX now, so you can purchase it, and I spent about 12 quid in order to get 24,000 ARX or so in order to purchase this, so it's up to you whether it's worth it. But this video is all about a cargo build for colonisation, and it does better the cutter by far for that role. So I'm going to show you first off the outfitting, and then we're going to look at some of the performance. But I think of it as a T9, but an enhanced T9 that goes a lot faster. So let's look at the outfitting. Hard points, I've not got anything in here, but you've got these 2 large and you've got 4 medium and 4 small, so it's perfectly capable of defending itself. I've also done a laser mining build as well, and I think this is probably going to replace the cutter as a laser miner, bear that in mind, so I'll do a video on that later. Let's look at the core internals. This is the important bit. We've got lightweight alloy, heavy duty G5, you want deep plating on that, but if you're going to go shieldless, then I'd recommend getting military grade G5 on that instead. Powerplant, I've got a 5A in it at the moment with G3 overcharged. It could be a 6A if you wanted more heavy duty shields than I've got in here. Thrusters, we got dirty drive G5 drag drives. Now you could have zero engineering on this, and I'll show you a comparison in the performance part of this video. But that's the recommended because it's a large ship. It's essentially a bit like the T9. FSD is going to be a 7A increased range G5 with mass manager. Life support, you've got a 5D, just like the sensors are also 5D, and they're both lightweight to however much you like there, as much as possible, but it doesn't make a massive amount of difference, I don't think, the lightweight, because it's such a huge beast. Power distributor, I'd go for a 4A, either engine focused or charge enhanced. The reason why I've put this in is it's a pre-engineered version that I just happen to have lying around. I have nothing better to use it for, but this works very well as well if you happen to have one of these, and it's nice and light. Now the main part is going to be cargo racks. The main interesting part of the Panther Clipper MK2 is these MK2 cargo racks, which have fairy dust in them, which allows 384 capacity on this one compared to the 256 of the standard 8 class cargo rack with this 8D unit. It's the same with the 7D unit, which is 192 rather than 128. So you can see how they can cheat you in the future. So I wouldn't rule out another higher class cargo capacity ship in the future to replace this, but not anytime soon, I hope. So we've got lots of cargo racks, and this is how it betters the cutter by far. Prismatic shield generator, reinforced, and you want high capacity in that, and obviously you want G5, but I didn't have the a G5 lying around, so this is what I've thrown in, and that's the reasoning there. Cargo capacity, again, you've got more cargo racks in there, millions of them. Standard docking computer, it does come with an advanced docking computer, but I don't recommend that because when it's taking off it hits the wall a lot of the time. Supercruise assist, and these two you don't necessarily need either of them, but I've got them for convenience so that you can mess around with your spreadsheets for doing colonisation. Looking at the utility mounts, this is where the cutter does better because this only has 6 utility mounts. So what I've gone for is a couple of heatsink launchers. You could have one pre-engineered instead of those 2. Shield boosters, you've got 1 or 2 in there. I've only got 1 in because of my power plant. But yeah, ideally you'd have 2, and you'd engineer them again. Point defense on the bottom, you want 2 of them, or 1 or 2, at least 1, to protect your cargo rack from any pirates. Looking at the performance, just looking at the jump range, then what we've got on this is you've got 20.79 light years. That's fully laden compared to 35 and 37 unladen. It's going to be the laden jump range. So if we compare that to the cutter is a little bit better at 28 light years laden, and more like 46, I think, and 43 with the unladen, the unladen amounts. With the max amounts, etc. So the cutter does do a bit better, but what you could do is put an FSD booster in here to give you 10 more basically in one of this 5 slot here, and lose 32 cargo, because it's still far better than the cutter. What else have we got? So looking at the cutter for pitch and yaw. So the pitch and yaw, well, the pitch is quite similar to the cutter, 29.98 on the cutter compared to 29.47 on the Panther. But you've got 13.3 on the cutter for the yaw, so the yaw is better on the Panther Clipper at 16, so similar to the T2 in that respect, but the roll isn't as good, being about half as much as the cutter's roll. But it's the boost speed, I think, which is the big significant factor. The cutter is at 533 meters per second compared to 409 meters per second on the Panther, and the cutter that's the shieldless build as well, so bear that in mind, because you're going to go shieldless on the cutter all the time to get anywhere near this kind of cargo capacity, and that's the big one. So cargo capacity, we are at currently with a shielded build, it's going to be 1168, but if you go shieldless, it'd be 1232, and that's with shieldless with your docking computer and your supercruise assist. So it's a hell of a lot better than any other ship in the game for cargo. So let's look at the performance, shall we? We have unengineered on the left and engineered on the right. Yes, I took a bump, but listen to the boost. Now the unengineered gets 280 meters per second boost compared to the just over 400 meters per second engineered variety, so that's the big difference there, but I don't think you're massively missing out. We'll boost again. And you're not missing out just because of the sheer cargo capacity you're going to get with the Panther Clipper Mark II. But what a dreamboat. So we're going to do a landing, and for the landing we are doing manual landings, even though we have the landing assist. We're not going to use that, just to show how good it is at landing. And I think it's rates better than the cutter for landing. It's a lot easier, just like the T9, it's a lot easier for landing than the cutter. It's almost like the T9's new big brother, even though the T9's older. It's bigger, you know what I mean. So as you can tell, no surprises, on the right hand side the engineered variety lands earlier than the unengineered, as you would expect. Very good ship either way. So those are both empty ships, but what happens if we have a full ship? So full cargo, lots of liquid oxygen there at 1168 tons worth, so we're coming in maximum heavy. So if we boost at the station, so boosting at the fleet carrier, and we'll do another boost maybe, no. I took the turn a little bit late here, and I did it on purpose, but as you can tell the shields do hold out with a bit of a bump. But I'd be a bit happier with fully engineered shields. I think those would work better, and 2 shield boosters. But no problem, no danger, we did land it in the end. So it's a good ship, it's manoeuvrable even when heavy, so it's great, it's excellent. I have no complaints except for, do you purchase it for ARX? So the question is, when do you purchase it? Do you purchase it now or in the future? And only you can answer that. One thing I would say is I would purchase the standard version if you are going to purchase for ARX for 19,000, because I really don't see what 38,000 ARX offers you as a benefit on the standard version. It's just a way of making more money for Frontier, which I think Frontier should make money, but I've got questions over how this works and whether we should be purchasing ships rather than purchasing DLCs. That's something Yannick has a very good video on. For once I agree with him on that. And I've noticed one YouTuber was saying I recommend purchasing the Stellar version. I really do not. That YouTuber was on the partner program, and I'm questioning over whether they're even allowed to be negative against the Stellar version, so hence maybe even forced to be positive. I really don't know, but it's a bit of a suspicious comment to make on this particular vessel. So really, if your hauling is your main activity in the game, and if you're on the colonisation, then that's why you would purchase it for ARX. So I hope this video has been useful. Drop a comment below. I'll drop another video on laser mining in a couple of days hopefully. But thank you very much for watching. Have a most excellent day if you're playing Elite Danger A.